Hello everyone, and welcome to the first week of the NNL, the No Name League. Today, we are going to be battling Euphoric, the Jacksonville Gardevoirs. I think that's right. And we are, of course, the Boston Brelooms. Now, as you can see, I'm going to go through the teams really fast. Today, I decided to bring Azumarill, Empoleon, Breloom, Mew, Thundurus Incarnate, and Donphan. And across for me, Euphoric has brought Crobat, Cresselia, Tyranitar, Keldeo, Mega Manectric, and Metagross. So, I'm going to go over the teams really fast. I brought Azumarill because I knew Azumarill would be able to put in plenty of work with its moves. Play Rough for Keldeo, Superpower, Play Rough for T-Tar, Knockoff for Cresselia and Metagross, Knockoff just in general to hit any of them except for Manectric. I was actually really... As you can see, I didn't bring my Mega. My Mega is Mega Gardevoir. I actually didn't bring it because first of all, he had a Metagross and a Crobat. So instantly I thought one of those two was going to be there specifically for my Mega Gardevoir. So I'm going to hopefully throw Euphoric off by not bringing my Mega. So I was actually a little surprised. I knew the Keldeo would be coming. I had a strong feeling the Crobat and the Metagross, or one or the other, would be coming. I kind of had a good feeling that the Cresselia would be here. So I was kind of expecting the Cresselia, which I didn't prepare for the Cresselia at all, despite having a good idea that it would be there. I'm surprised the Dragonite isn't here, but I mean, it's not that big of a surprise. You know, he's got Keldeo, and he's got T-Tar and Metagross. He doesn't really need Dragonite with a T-Tar and a Metagross. But what really threw me off is that he didn't bring the Rotom Heat. I was really expecting the Rotom Heat to be here, given that I have Breloom and Thundurus Incarnate, which can not take very many electrical hits, even though it's an electric type since it's half-flying, and I have Empoleon and Azumarill. I was really expecting to see his Rotom Heat. In fact, I was expecting him to leave his Manectric behind and bring the Rotom Heat, but he did in fact leave behind the Rotom Heat, which is a bit of a weight off of my shoulder, because even with my Empoleon and my Azumarill, I did not want to deal with I did not want to deal with Rotom Heat at all, so I'm actually kind of glad to see it isn't here. But anyways, Sorry, I had to check something. I thought the recording had messed up. So, on my Azumarill, I'm going to try and remember the sets I ran. On Azumarill, I ran Assault Vest with Aqua Jet, Superpower, Play Rough, and Waterfall. I ran Superpower because it's 4 times effective against T-Tar instead of 2 times effective, like Waterfall would be. And the Porygon 2 was a bit of a fear. I wasn't totally afraid of the Porygon 2, but I thought it would show up, and if it did, I was thinking, if it shows up, other than my Breloom with Mach Punch, what am I going to hit a Porygon 2 with, especially if it's specially defensive? So I put Superpower and Azumarill for it, and for T-Tar, so I could just completely crap on those Pokemon. And Knockoff, of course, hits pretty much everything on his team except for Mega Manectric. It'll knock off the item of the Keldeo, it'll knock off the item of the T-Tar, it'll do good damage to Metagross and Cresselia, and it'll do good damage to a Crobat because it's a Crobat. Empoleon, I ran max physical defense, which I was at my 6th Pokemon. I was thinking, you know what? I'm just going to run physically defensive Empoleon because I don't have a physical wall, so why not? So I got Empoleon physically defensive with Expert Belt, Ice Beam, Grass Knot, and what was my last move? Scald and Stealth Rocks. I didn't run Flash Cannon because Euphoric, Flash Cannon is really only good for his T-Tar. He didn't have any fairies, so I was thinking, you know what? I don't really need Flash Cannon, even though it's good stab. I'm not going to be getting Expert Belt off on any of his pokes, because other than T-Tar. Do you have any other pokes weak to Steel? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure all of his other Pokemon are neutral or resisting to Steel. But so, that's my Empoleon. I was wanting to do something different with Breloom for this first match in the battle, but the more and more I looked at Euphoric's team, and the more and more I looked at my own team, I was thinking, the best thing for me is to run my standard Breloom, which is pretty much the standard Breloom period, which is Rock Tomb, Technician, Bullet Seed, Spore, what move didn't I say? Mach Punch with, yeah. So that's what and Focus Sash. So I ran the standard Breloom because at the end of the day, it seemed like the best idea to me. I brought Mew and ran full health, full special defense for, mainly the Keldeo, because I was so sure the Keldeo was going to be here. And obviously, I was right. The Keldeo was here. It's right there. Can you see it right there? Nice and resolute. There it is. So, my whole purpose with Mew was I was originally supposed to have Dazzling Gleam, but I actually forgot to go and use the TM on it before the match, so I have Psychic instead, which is still good for Keldeo, but Dazzling Gleam I felt would have been better coverage overall, but, you know, specifically for Keldeo, Psychic is better. Stab and all that jazz. And then I had Heal Bell just in case any status effects came up that really messed me up, like if he burned, I was expecting the Rotom Heat, so I didn't want him to burn my Azumarill or my Donphan, which would have caused me some major problems. So I did bring Heal Bell on Mew specifically for situations like that. Him not bringing the Rotom Heat kind of messed me up because I was planning for it to be here, but at the same time worked out for me because it would have been such a problem. I also had, what were my other moves? U-turn, because I had no speed investment, so I had a good chance of getting Switch Initiative, especially on the Manectric. And, or more specifically, I was thinking of a Choice Scarfed Rotom Heat at the time. And then my last move was, I can't remember my last move on Mew. Oh well. Thundurus Incarnate, I had T-Wave, Dark Pulse for Metagross and Cresselia, Thunderbolt, and then Focus Blast for the T-Tar and the Porygon 2 in case my Azumarill could not handle the Porygon 2. If it was full physical defense and it like hit me with the Thunderbolt or something and managed to take me out, or if my Azumarill went down beforehand, I had Thundurus with Focus Blast, even though I hate relying on Focus Blast because I miss it so often. That dreaded Focus Miss. And then lastly, I have Donphan, who is a little bit of a weird set. I had Rapid Spin on him because I knew I needed to be able to get rocks off the field because of Thundurus and because of Breloom's Sash. And just my team does not agree with chip damage very well. Ice Shard for good priority and also mainly for the Dragonite, which I was also expecting to be here. And it also helps with the Crobat, and, you know, having a good priority move is always nice. Ice Shard on Donphan isn't the greatest, but it can really come in helpful. Then I had Seed Bomb, once again for the Keldeo, because I was really afraid of the Keldeo. So I had Mew and Donphan to handle the Keldeo, because with Sturdy, I could hit it with either Endeavor or Seed Bomb, or if you tried to switch it in on my Donphan, which I didn't think would happen, but I had Seed Bomb, basically. Then my last move, I was in a bit of a rush, and Empoleon was my last Pokemon, but before Empoleon, it was Donphan. I was thinking, I just need a fourth move. Am I just going to put Earthquake on this thing? And I was thinking, he's going to have a Cresselia and possibly a Crobat, and once again, I really thought he was going to bring Rotom Heat. So I thought Rotom Heat was going to be here, so I was like, I'm not going to run Earthquake. I'm going to do something fancy, so I'm going to run Endeavor. So I just put Endeavor on it, because, you know, Endeavor, Sturdy, Ice Shard seemed like a good idea at the time. But yeah, that's my team, and let's get into this battle. This video is going to be long, because I just had a really long, rambly intro explaining my team, and it's a 34-minute team. So anyways, looking at his team, the only thing he could lead with that would mess up my Azumarill being my lead was his Crobat. I knew it was a good chance of him leading with the Crobat, but I had Empoleon for an easy switch-in. So I decided I'm going to switch in my Azu, or I'm going to lead with my Azu, I mean. So I bring in Azu, he goes straight for the Meteor Mash. And, man, that Meteor Mash does a lot. Just a little over 50%, so I unfortunately can't take another. And he gets the attack boost, which is even worse. But thankfully, I'm going to get the knockoff, do basically as much as he did to me, and get his Lumberry out of there. I decide I want to save Azumarill for later, because even at half health, Azumarill can take a hit, so it's still useful. So I switch in Empoleon, my physical wall, and I knew he had Earthquake. And I was actually counting on him having Earthquake. So he hits me with the Meteor Mash, and I eat it up, because I'm a physically defensive Empoleon. And he gets another attack boost, so he's a +2, and I'm like, crap, I gotta kill this thing. Then I baited him to use Earthquake. So I switched my Empoleon out into my Thundurus, hoping that he would go for Earthquake, praying that he would go for Earthquake. And he does go for EQ. At the time, I had forgotten about Bullet Punch, but I'm an Electric Flying type. So I eat up the Bullet Punch easily, even at +2. It only does like 30 to 40%. And I hit him with Dark Pulse, which kills. So the Metagross, which was about to be a huge threat because it was at +2, is gone. Thank goodness. But yeah, so I get the first kill of the battle. Also, his Metagross, for some reason, is M-E-T-E. And then his Manectric, instead of T-R-I-C, is T-R-E-C, which I find hilarious for reasons I can't understand, why he's replaced some of his vowels with E on his Pokemon for some reason. But he Mega Evolves the Manectric. I know I outspeed Manectric for this one turn because of the way when a Mega Evolves, it doesn't have that speed stat until next turn. So I know I outspeed, so I decide he's going to Volt Switch. I'm going to sack Thundurus. I'm going to Focus Blast, get some really good damage off the Manectric, like 70 to 80%. And I'm going to let him kill me with the Volt Switch. He went exactly for what I totally predicted him here, thankfully. If he had gone for T-Bolt, I probably would have been in a bit of a worse place. But this is going to give me Switch Initiative, because since he Volt Switched and killed me, he has to switch before I bring in my next poke. So I thankfully predicted that correctly. He brings in the Crobat, and I decide I'm going to bring in Empoleon. I can Ice Beam this thing. I figure he's going to switch out, not wanting to deal with my Empoleon. So I go for Stealth Rock, and it actually turns out he has Taunt. So if I had just gone for a Scald or an Ice Beam there, I could have gotten some good damage off. But he taunts me. I rarely run into Taunt Mons. I guess it's just something with me I don't understand. Most people I battle don't have a Pokemon with Taunt for some reason, so I didn't expect it. I decided, now that he's taunted me, he knows I'm going to attack, obviously, so he's probably going to switch. So I go for Scald, hoping for some burn hacks. I was kind of expecting the Keldeo, but he actually brings in the Crest, which is fine. I get the burn, thankfully. That nice 30% burn chance. Pretty sure it's 30%. So here I decide to switch into Azu, because I figure I can, I'm a Sylvest, I figure I can take a hit or two. And he goes for the Calm Mind. I also forgot that Cresselia is base 85 speed. For some reason, I thought Cresselia was stupid slow, but no, it's actually pretty quick, especially compared to my base 50 Azu. He goes for the Calm Mind, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. I should, even with the +1, I should be able to live a hit so I can knock off. And here he goes for such a great move, such a great move. He uses Rest. So not only does he get his HP back, and not only does he recover his burn, but he's Chesto Berry. So he's going to eat his Chesto Berry and no longer be holding an item. So my knockoff is going to do way less damage than it should. So I hit the knockoff. It does way less because he's not holding an item anymore. He's eaten the item. And then he goes for the Psychic. I think Psyshock may have killed me here, so I'm really thankful he had Psychic instead. And then I missed the Play Rough, so my thankfulness immediately ends after that. Play Rough would have done plenty of damage to this thing. So next I go for the Aqua Jet and does like nothing. I'm actually surprised with how little that did. And then this is when I realize he's running Rest. He's a Crocoon Cresselia, so of course he has, he took a physical hit well. He's physically defensive, and he has Calm Mind to get special defense up. So I decide here, without my Thundurus, I have to go into Breloom and put it to sleep and just Bullet Seed it and hope I get like crits and 5 hits like twice in a row. That's basically my only chance. I'm surprised he didn't expect the Spore and go for Sleep Talk here. In the battle, I was surprised. But anyways, I go for Bullet Seed, and this turn is where I realize that's why he didn't Sleep Talk the turn I had Breloom on the field. It turns out he actually does not even have Sleep Talk. Or if he just thought he would wake up, one or the other, because he doesn't go for it here. But anyways, he's going to switch out the Crest here, wanting to preserve it for later, or just wanting to keep a Pokemon on his team that's asleep so that I can't Spore the rest of his pokes. I probably should have gone for Rock Tomb here, but I was really afraid of this Crest being at +1, and if it woke up and got a rest off, I was in big trouble. So I went for the Bullet Seed, because I knew I had to kill it. I didn't think Rock Tomb would kill, because obviously it was physically invested. And so I hit the Bullet Seed on Crobat, does basically nothing. I believe we both switch here. He double switches, predicting my switch. He goes into his Manectric, and I think I go into Empoleon here. Because, you know, my Empoleon is basically a hard counter to his Crobat. His Crobat can't do anything to my Empoleon, especially since it's physically defensive. So, I bring in Empoleon, and this is totally unfavorable for me, especially since I'm physically and not specially defensive. So I switch right back out. I don't want to be here. I go into Bayfork, max special defense, max HP. Originally meant for the Keldeo, but it can handle the Manectric as well. He goes for Flamethrower, which I was a little surprised. I was expecting Overheat, because that's what I normally run, and that's what I see a lot of other people run, but Flamethrower is pretty viable as well, so it's not that surprising. But I know I can take another hit easily, so he goes for the Volt Switch, and of course he outspeeds me. This is pretty much what I expected, because after he saw how much the Flamethrower did, I didn't think he'd stay in. So he Volt Switches. I take this opportunity to U-turn so I can get Switch Initiative again. I was really trying hard to keep Switch Initiative in this battle, because when you're up against a Manectric, and when you think you're going to be up against a Rotom Heat with a Choice Scarf, you know that you're going to have some trouble getting Switch Initiative. So I U-turn, thankfully on the T-Tar, so, you know, super effective, get a little more damage. I think my last 4 EVs are in attack, so nice little bit of chip damage. I go into my Empoleon. I know I can take an Earthquake, and plus I don't take Sandstorm damage. The Sandstorm is really troublesome. He actually goes for Crunch here. I don't know if he expected me to switch back into Bayfork or something, which would have been weird. Obviously, I was going to stand in his Empoleon because I U-turned into it. But I go for Scald, and it does absolutely nothing. So I'm pretty sure he has special defense investment. Even, you know, a rock type in the sand gets the 1.5 times special defense, I believe. But even then, I think he has some special defense investment because I am Expert Belt and all that. I decided to just keep going for Scald, and he switches in the Crest, and I kill it. I was actually kind of expecting the Keldeo to come in, so I was considering Grass Knot, but I really wanted to just try for Burn Hacks. In retrospect, Grass Knot would have been the better move. I decide here, you know, I'm going to let Empoleon die off, even though I have not killed the Crobat yet, which once again was probably not a great idea. But I go for Grass Knot because I want to get this thing down to Mach Punch range, so I can just Mach Punch it out with my Breloom if needed. Unfortunately, he gets the burn. I'm pretty sure I would have lived another Scald if I hadn't been burned there. This Keldeo is choiced, or he just decides to use Scald for the entire battle. One or the other. I'm pretty sure it's choiced, so Unfortunately, after the burn damage, I'm guaranteed dead, so I couldn't get off another Grass Knot. And since I couldn't get off another Grass Knot, I could not get him into Mach Punch range, which is really unfortunate. But thankfully, the Sandstorm is gone, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. So I go back into Bayfork, and I'm thinking he's going to switch, not wanting to take a Psychic or Dazzling Gleam. And he actually just stays in and keeps Scalding. I don't know if he didn't realize I was specially defensive even after the Manectric or not, but I went for Will-O-Wisp expecting him to send in the Crobat or the, probably not the Crobat, but, or the T-Tar. The T-Tar is what I was really expecting to get Sand back up, and this it's obviously specially invested. So I went for Burn, trying to burn the T-Tar, but burning the Keldeo was still fine, because Bayfork lives another turn. I had to name it Bayfork for this battle, I just had to. Since it lives another turn, the Will-O-Wisp damage brings Keldeo definitely into Mach Punch range. So I can kill Keldeo with a Mach Punch now, which is exactly what my plan is. So I send in Brelooms so I can get this Mach Punch and get this Keldeo out of here, so I don't have to deal with this thing anymore, because it's so threatening to me. I get terrified every time I see a Keldeo. Then he sends in Crobat. I went for the Mach Punch. I kind of expected him to switch, but I didn't want to lose my Sash, and I didn't want to risk getting hit by the Scald and getting burned, because that would have totally messed me up. I wouldn't be able to kill the T-Tar anymore with a Mach Punch if I was burned. So I was afraid he was going to break my Sash here, and I actually forgot he had Taunt. If he had gone for Taunt here, I would have been so messed up. But I went for Spore, and he Toxics me, which I'm actually looking at it, I'm thinking, you know what? I don't mind being Toxicked, because I can make that work. Even though it breaks my Sash, I can make Toxic work. I can still win this, because at this point, Breloom is pretty much my win condition. If I kill the Crobat, then with Breloom, I can kill the rest of his team. Because I think the Cresselia is dead at this point. Yeah, the Cresselia and the Metagross are dead. Mach Punch kills the rest of his team with the HP they're at. So I Rock Tomb the Crobat, and it does... This Crobat has got to have some kind of physical investment. It has to. And I'm sitting here thinking, he has a physically invested Crobat? How am I going to deal with this thing without my Thundurus? Even though it did that much. I actually thought another Rock Tomb would kill. I think I go for Rock Tomb again here. Wait a minute, do I? He switches out. I wasn't sure if I outsped, but I was just praying that he would stay asleep. He goes with the Manectric, and I get the -1, and I'm like, crap. Now I definitely have to switch out. Not only because Toxic is starting to rack up in damage, but also because I'm at -1. Thankfully, Rock Tomb still kills, so I didn't have to stay in another turn to get a Mach Punch off, because I would have had to switch. All I have left now is the Big D, my Donphan. The D in the Big D stands for Donphan, by the way. He switches in his Crobat, and I think I Rock Tomb. Yeah, I decide I can take one more turn of Toxic, switch out, switch back in, Mach Punch, and win. So I go for the Rock Tomb, and his physical investment lets him live, and I'm just like, no, why are you a physically invested Crobat? Why? Why, Yafork? Why do you do this to me? Why do you live with 1 HP? So I'm not sure if I outspeed him or not after the speed drop. I'm not sure, and I'm afraid he's going to wake up this turn because he's been asleep like 2 turns now. So I actually switch into the Big D thinking, I don't know, I think Toxic may have killed me that turn. I'm not sure. The point is I needed to switch. So I go into the Big D, and he actually switches out. And now I know after a Rock Tomb, I would have outsped him. So that's unfortunate, but still, because of Toxic, I had to switch out either way. But it's good to know that I would have outsped him after the 1 Rock Tomb. Because I switched out first, that means I outspeed him. So Sandstream goes back up, which is a bit of a problem. He goes for Ice Punch. I'm a Donphan. I can take an Ice Punch. It does like a 30 to 40%. And I go for Seed Bomb because I don't have EQ. And here is where I actually make a misplay. I hit Seed Bomb again this turn like an idiot. I should have Ice Sharded. I'm pretty sure I'm positive Ice Shard kills. I'm max attack. So I could have saved some health on my Donphan right there, which could have come in handy. Even, I'm pretty sure the Keldeo kills me either way, but it was just the smarter play to go for Ice Shard there. I should have Ice Sharded, but I didn't. So, that sucks. And here I'm making, this one isn't a misplay. This is actually a misclick on this next move. He sends in the Keldeo, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, the Keldeo. So he sends in the Keldeo, and I think Ice Shard, Burn, Sandstorm, he's dead. Then I just have to kill the Crobat with Breloom. I misclick and accidentally hit Rapid Spin this turn instead of Ice Shard, which sucks, because now, even with Sandstorm and Burn, the Keldeo lives. Which, in the grand scheme of things, isn't a big deal, because I still Mach Punch, and I kill it. And even with that extra turn of Toxic, the Crobat is still low on health. It doesn't matter. In the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter. It's just a matter of I misclicked, and I made a misplay before that. In the grand scheme of things, it didn't matter, but still, I shouldn't be making misplays or misclicks like that. So I take it out with Mach Punch, and the Sandstorm subsides, so I don't have to worry about that. All that's left is my Breloom and his Crobat, and this thing is physically invested, and I'm sitting here like, if this thing is 252 defense, how much does Mach Punch do minimum? 6% minimum. Is that 6% HP? I don't know if it was or not, but I must have gotten the max roll of 9 if that wasn't 6% HP. It was 6 to 9% on this Crobat if it was 252 defense, 252 HP. And I was terrified, because in that last turn, I sat there until the timer got to like 30 seconds, I think. I sat there, I calced it, and I sat there thinking, do I risk him waking up and go for Rock Tomb, which I know kills, but also has, 90 accuracy, could miss? Do I go for Rock Tomb and pray that I don't miss and hit and take him out and risk him waking up because he outspeeds me? He's not a -1, so he outspeeds me. Do I risk him waking up and killing me? Or do I go for the Mach Punch and risk him having like 7% HP? I get a min roll, and then he wakes up and kills me. Or he gets enough leftovers recovery where another Mach Punch won't kill, and I'm just in the same position the next turn, only he has an even better chance of waking up. But thank goodness that the Mach Punch killed. That was such a close battle. It was great. That was one of the best battles I've ever been in. I loved that. But yeah. So first week 1 of 10, we are 1-0. The Boston Brelooms are 1-0, thankfully. And starting off the what would you call it? The league strong. Starting off the league strong. I wanted a different word than league, but I couldn't think of one. We're starting off strong, but of course, even if you win the first battle, you could lose the other 9. So I can't get cocky or anything. But I am super, super excited for the rest of the league, especially coming off of a win. Hopefully I can get another one next week. I don't know who I'm battling. I can't remember who I'm battling. I'm going to let it be a surprise either way. But yeah, so GG Euphoric. That was a great battle. It really came down to the wire there. So many things could have gone differently if I had hit the play rough, if you had brought Rotom H, if Crobat had gotten a wake up on the second turn. I think it was Crobat was asleep 2, maybe 3 turns. When I think sleep, I normally think it's going to be asleep 3 turns. Any more than that, you're pushing your luck. But if Crobat had gotten an early wake up, it could have been really bad. But anyways, or bad for me, good for him. But yeah, it was a great battle, and I am definitely looking forward. I will have a rematch with Euphoric in the second half in the last 5 weeks. I'm definitely looking forward to our rematch where he can either get revenge on me or I can keep my wins against Euphoric going, one or the other. We'll see, but thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. This is going up Saturday, so just so you guys know, all of my No Name League battles are going to be going up on Saturdays, the Saturday of the week, and it will go up with other videos. I won't make Saturday just this battle upload. I will have all of my other, or whatever videos I originally planned to go up that day, go up with it. But these videos will be every Saturday for the next 9 more weeks. I'm in this league 9 more weeks, so for the next 9 weeks, one of these videos every Saturday. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time for our next battle, where the Boston Brelooms will hopefully pick up a 2-0, or we'll get 1-1, which is also respectable. So, until then, farewell.